The new status had appeared on some celebrity and media accounts today. Technology correspondent Jess Kelly has more.
The idea behind the official badge was to distinguish between those paying for a blue tick and pages designated official. So this would have included government accounts, business accounts, journalists, major media outlets and so on. However, within a matter of hours of the rollout of the official badge, a number of people took to the platform to give out and criticise. Elon Musk then tweeted saying he killed it. So bit by bit, the official badge is disappearing.
It's 7:02.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. Need a birthday gift she love? Ryanair gift cards. The perfect gift for lovers.
Tomorrow will be windy with outbreaks of rain and drizzle, highest temperatures of 14 to 17 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette, in association with Movember. Effortless shave, magnificent mo.
This is News Talk.
Now then, you're welcome along. So we've got a great show for you this evening. Adam Crafton of The Athletic is going to talk to us about his new podcast, about the time really spent with Shakhtar Donetsk across their Champions League campaign this year as war raged back home. It's a great piece of work, and the interview with Adam is well worth tuning in for. Miguel Delaney also on the football show, really just to talk about the weird space football finds itself in. Usually 11 days out from World Cup, there is a great sense of anticipation and excitement and feel-good factor. None of that at the moment. Wednesday night rugby, we will focus a little less on Ireland. I think we've done our fair share of analysis in Ireland, South Africa. More on the trouble for Eddie Jones at the moment. So we'll have the BBC's Chris Jones with us, Fiona Hayes as well. And then there is the controversy which follows Kyrie Irving that won't quite go away. We're into week 2 and counting of that. 53106 is the text number. We're at Off the Ball on Twitter. Michael McCarthy here in studio. Hello.
Hi, Joe.
And Richie McCormack, good evening.
Gents, how are you?
Very well. So Adam Crafton on the way of The Athletic. He has spent time embedded with Shakhtar Donetsk across their Champions League campaign. It's a great podcast series, 6-parter, 3 parts are out, and there are amazing moments strewn across it. I mean, one of the early episodes, his first night with the team, he's just chatting to one of the lesser known players and asks, casually, lost anyone, or what's it been like for you? And the player talks at length about how his father-in-law has been killed and they can't find the body, and he's going to play Champions League match the next night and everything's in complete disarray. And it's just story and after story like that, and amazing. They play their games in Warsaw, and I was, what's the relationship between the Warsaw public and the Shakhtar players? And he was talking about the Real Madrid game, where Shakhtar put up an amazing performance because they've lost a bunch of their players. 14 players, foreign players, have just been allowed to leave in accordance with FIFA rules. So they were anticipating a tough group stage, and they finished third in a group with Leipzig, who they beat 4-1 on the first night, and Real Madrid and Celtic. And Adam describes the game against Real Madrid in Warsaw, where by dint of Real Madrid's status, there were a lot of Real Madrid fans in Warsaw who went along to support Real Madrid. And as the game went on, I mean, it was akin to almost Rocky IV territory. Such was the commitment of the Shakhtar players that by the end of the game, the whole stadium was rocking, very much in favour of Shakhtar, very much against Real Madrid. So I was saying to Adam in the piece, which again is on the football show at 9, that I think too often I've been reading out Champions League scores on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings here and saying Shakhtar 1-0 down and moving on to the next one and almost not appreciating the miracle which has gone on.
100%. You're so right. I was listening to you and Rory and Kleena talking on the Sunday paper review about Ukraine kind of disappearing from the news a little bit and us not really thinking about it enough. And I was thinking while listening to that when they came to play, when the national team came to play Ireland here, a lot of the build-up was about how that must be, what that must be like, and how they're managing. They'd obviously played a World Cup qualifier, playoff a few days before and everything like that. But I think once the game started and everything in the aftermath, like we got caught up in Stephen Kenny-itis as usual, and got into the minutiae and like really overlooked this story. And I thought about it a few times during the Champions League as well about Shakhtar. We're not hearing these stories enough anymore, and we're starting to just normalise players going out in these circumstances and almost not thinking about the fact that what they're going through personally and what, like, in life-changing, life-altering ways. So yeah, I think a podcast like this is so important, and to get us all sort of thinking about it again and putting us into that perspective of, hold on a second, this is a unique, awful tragedy that these guys have to play through, and we're just reading out their scores against Celtic in a throwaway manner.
On Wednesday Night Rugby then, Chris Jones, who's always a great guest at the BBC, is going to be on with Fiona Hayes, obviously a more regular great guest. And what's happening with England at the moment, very interesting. So they lost to Argentina at the weekend. They do have Japan this week, and then they have New Zealand and South Africa. So it's quite a tough schedule. Basically, nothing about England right now is good. And Eddie Jones is basically saying, trust me, I know what I'm doing. World Cup, this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be spectacular. And so he's talking about how there's no preparation time for a country like England, where they have players at all different clubs. Ireland have Leinster being bulk suppliers. France have a Toulouse type backbone. England, he got players coming from everywhere. So he was saying, for instance, you know, he was asked, what's going on here? Like, why are we losing these games? We should be winning. He said, preparation time. I don't control that. I won't worry about it for now. For the World Cup, we'll get more time. And that will get the trick, he was asked, 100%. So he's saying, World Cup, we'll have 11 weeks over the summer. This thing's going to be amazing. And the problem is, increasingly, people aren't so sure.
Well, we've been in the boat, you know, like, I mean, we've been, you know, in 2019, I would say, we were in the it'll be all right in the night attitude for that. And it was more in hope than expectation, I think, by the time the tournament started. And it's not easy to kind of find form.
No.
It really isn't. So while England, I do think there is a trust in Eddie Jones that he'll get something out of them as the coach that he is. And then there's probably a talent level there as well that people think is at least competitive. It's not like, it's funny, I'm going to say 07, but in 07 England were kind of no-hopers. Now, they've got to the World Cup final, but that was a weird confluence of events, I would say, rather than any kind of a spectacular team. But that was an England team that just wasn't at the races. It wasn't good enough, and it was just I don't think we're in that situation, so you can't rule them out. But, you know, I don't think any... Look, I mean, I don't want to be unfair to Argentina beat New Zealand a few months ago. And, you know, Czech is doing a great job, but it's they're not minnows. No. But this is... it's at Twickenham. This is not what they want in November before the World Cup. So.
No, so Chris Jones will join us after 8 o'clock and explain all. We should start the news round, which is, as ever, brought to you with Gillette in association with Movember. Effortless shave, magnificent mow. You can sign up or donate now at Movember.com. I would think we can say, Richie, one of Ireland's most popular sports people, getting a big honour this afternoon.
Yeah, I think he would have ingratiated himself even further for people who got to hear his press conference. But Tadhg Furlong will captain Ireland in Saturday's test with Fiji. It's the first time the Leinster Tidehead has captained any side since his time with the Ireland under-18s. Furlong says Andy Farrell's decision came by surprise today, but revealed what he's learned from being part of the Ireland leadership group.
As much as a person, as a player, really, it forces you to think outside your own game. Like, your blinkers are off. You need to be across, you know, how the squad is feeling, our game, how we're messaging them, you know what I mean, younger players coming through, etc., etc. How do we make them feel $1 million from the minute they walk in the door so they can put their best foot forward, you know? So I suppose it's a little bit of everything, and I suppose you learn a lot about yourself in respect of you're outside your comfort zone a lot, you know what I mean? You're putting yourself in situations where you might be working with a player, or and he mightn't exactly know that you're working with him, and small chats, and it's about having conversations and putting yourself out there, you know.
He was just a quote machine today. Yeah. There wasn't a question Furlong was asked that he didn't just say something incredibly endearing in response to. For instance, he was talking at length about how this was just not on my radar growing up. Like, whatever about dreaming of playing for Leinster, playing for Ireland, I never even thought of being captain. That was never even on the agenda. And Aisling O'Reilly of Off the Ball said, what did you dream of? And Furlong, spuds, gravy, the mother's roast. And it brings the house down. And he was also...
three things that are all the same there, Tyler. I won't nitpick.
Dinner. He was also saying that when Andy Farrell asked him to be captain, he said, I said to Faz, no bother off the pitch. But what do I do on it? Do I go to the corner or what? This is always the great debate after every Irish game. The kick for the corner, they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So, just amazingly humble, down to earth, has always been, and very natural. And even as he's become best tight head in the world by some distance, he's never lost that.
It's good to have this as an honour, isn't it? Like on your name that you captained your country, because I don't. Not because I'm sure he'd be amazing at it. I'd be interested to talk to someone who has Brian or Woody or someone like that, as to how much it takes out of you. But it's like, it feels to me now, Fiji aside this week, is like the last thing we need is Tadhg Furlong having to take the captaincy on top of all the other things that we need him to do, and how essential he is to everything that Ireland does. And just focus on your scrummaging there, Tadhg. Leave the decisions to us. It would be, I don't know, maybe it's my overly negative instinct when it comes to this, but I do think that for a day like this it's an honour he absolutely deserves, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Rich, I presume you watched his full press conference. He is just... I remember the first time I saw him really interviewed at length, and he was talking about how, that people would play him those... I can't remember where, but it's just this image of... They were playing the video of him as a GA player, smashing lads half his size. And he said something like, see, I had this thing that I always want to be the same number of stone as my age. And the whole room just erupts laughing. And they're like, I think he was like, when did that stop? And I don't know, when he was 14 or 15 or something. But almost from minute one, he's had that kind of quality, Rich.
He's normal.
Yeah.
And that's increasingly something that we don't see in elite sports people, because their lives are so closeted and they're so dedicated to their profession and everything that would go into being a top level athlete. But there is a huge side of Tadhg Furlong that is just a normal bloke who was rocked up off his local pitch in New Ross and managed to amble out and somehow pull on a green jersey. Like, obviously there's clearly a lot more that's gone on in between then, but it is a kind of a normality that's becoming even rarer. So you kind of have to treasure it when it does appear in press conferences like today's. But yeah, like he's just a gem. He's somebody you'd want to be kind of caught talking to in a night out. If you got sat next to him at a wedding table, I don't think you'd complain too much. But it's brilliant for him to take that step up, and especially seeing it's so unexpected. And he mentioned that so often today, that like an hour and a half before the press conferences when he found out that he was playing and that he was captain of the side. So it's like he was still in a state of shock.
Thought he was getting a week off.
Talking about the squads. Yeah, I would especially when Finlay Bealham was out there yesterday. I was like, all right, I think we can guess 2 of our 3 front rowers on Saturday. But no, we've got Furlong tomorrow, and it seems Stuart McCloskey's going to get another one out in the centre as well. So I think the team is slowly being pieced together by who's being put in front of the media this week.
You have to decide to be like that, though. Like, I mean, it takes a confidence in yourself and that you're going to appear normal and be the person that you actually are in front of the media. It's not just something it's actually easier to go into the robotic style that everybody does, because then you'll blend in and you'll say nothing. And even if you're the funniest person in Ireland off air, it's, you have to make a decision to say, look, I am who I am. I don't really care what other people think. And then you're loved for it. But I still think that first step
it's hard.
Is scary, to let yourself be who you are. So like that, I think it shows a sign of a person very comfortable in themselves.
Comfortable in his skin. That's the very definition of comfortable in his skin, I would say. So Ulster have finally confirmed what was well flagged.
Yeah, we knew this was coming, but Ulster finally announced today the signing of Springbok loosehead Stephen Kitshoff. The 30-year-old will join the province from DHL Stormers after next year's World Cup, having agreed a 3-year deal. Kitshoff was part of the bomb squad that came off the bench for South Africa in last week's defeat to Ireland at the Aviva. His international debut actually came against Ireland in Port Elizabeth in 2016, and he has since earned more than 50 caps.
Ollie Horgan, Rich.
Yeah, sad news this for any League of Ireland fan, I guess. Finn Harps manager Ollie Horgan has left the club by mutual consent. The Galway native took over from Peter Hutton 9 years ago, leading them to a pair of promotions during that time. But Harps' 4-year stay in the SSE Electricity Premier Division came to an end this season.
Saw a great sense of sadness about this.
Even in the officer.
Yeah, like again, we talk about normality. Like there's something normal and very unnormal about Ollie Horgan all at once. An incredibly intelligent man, and you'd never, I think the people outside looking in, or people who might just see a picture of Ollie Horgan and see the words Finn Harps, whatever, might put 2 and 2 together and get 8. But he's as sharp as a tack and is a unique character around the league, but he just got that sense, particularly towards the back end of this season, that things were ebbing away from ever so slightly. And Finn Harps, 9 years, especially in this league, is an awfully long time and would drain anybody, particularly when they've got interest outside of it. And he's a teacher and all that kind of stuff. So, like he's going to be a huge loss. If we can get him in front of a microphone, by all means, I think we should. He is a great character, a great mind about the game, and a unique view on things as well, to put him highly. But yeah, like he'll be a loss, because I think he's one of those normal people that kind of you like to get it into your press conference from.
Okay, we will press on. So Caoimhín Kelleher gets the nod.
Yeah, plenty of Irish involvement in tonight's Carabao Cup third round ties. Caoimhín Kelleher starts in goal for a very young Liverpool side at home to Derby. Joe Hodge and Conor Ronan both start for Wolves in their game with Leeds. West Ham hand a fourth start in the season to Conor Coventry, with Blackburn visiting the London Stadium. Evan Ferguson is on the bench for Brighton in their tie away to Arsenal. Elsewhere tonight, Newcastle play Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest host Tottenham, for whom Matt Doherty and Harry Kane start. Pretty worrying if you're Gareth Southgate naming your squad tomorrow. And elsewhere, Southampton face Sheffield Wednesday. Mark McGuinness, the Ireland under-21 defender, is central to Wednesday's plans tonight. And perhaps tie of the night sees Manchester City welcome Chelsea to the Etihad. Erling Haaland is on the bench for the hosts.
Okay. It's creeping up as a touch. 41,400 sell out at Porky Queeve tomorrow evening. It's actually going to be an amazing occasion. It's hard to know how to preview it or how to talk about it, but I dare say almost akin to 08 and the All Blacks. It'll catch fire when it's on. So we have the teams for Munster and Springboks A.
Yeah, the Box named theirs the other day, but Munster have named their team to play South Africa A at the Park tomorrow night. There are first starts for recent signings: Antoine Frisch and Kieran McDonald. Simon Zebo, Ben Healy, Josh Wycherley, Roman Salanoa and Gavin Coombs all come back into the starting 15, and that team will be captained from the back row by Jack O'Donoghue.
We'll be there tomorrow, Mick. I'll be down there.
You say we there. It doesn't include me. I'll be here, Joe, like I always am.
Virgin Media too.
Yeah.
Excited. Nervous though. We are pitch side. Weather's not promising.
Oh no.
You know when you watch Allianz League games?
Have you done this particular one?
No,
yet? No,
never.
Okay.
So,
and John Motson coat. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you going for the overcoat?
I'm going for as many layers as I can.
Right. Okay. Long johns, and then just wear your suit and
it's
look
whether
hard.
Or not to wear a little cap, Jack Charlton style or something.
You're definitely not going to wear a cap.
I might. You look? No.
Are they not? Did Virgin not employ like umbrella holders?
I don't think so.
You just come down
to interfere with the shot.
Yeah.
There was an RTE one where Pat's planted an umbrella and no one else did. I seem to remember this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Brilliant. No, I thought I missed that somehow.
Experience.
Looking forward to it. Hope you don't get hit with a ball in the warm up.
Oh yeah, I'd say you'd be devastated if that happened.
I would. Yeah, no, it would break my heart. I would. Look, I've been any embarrassment that you feel, Joe, I'll feel tenfold as your friend and colleague.
Indeed,
or colleague and friend. I should have probably said it the other way around there. Yeah.
Well, listen. Yeah, whether headwear is acceptable is my current issue.
The crowd for this game is incredible.
Well, it's the biggest attendance for any rugby game in the history of the province.
Yeah.
In Munster, obviously Croke Park and all that, and Dublin games, but of a game held in
Munster, yeah,
there's never been bigger attendance.
There you go, and it is quite like a novelty to still see international rugby game or any sport played in the GA pitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of intrigue around it, and as you said,
just don't know
the rugby will almost take care
of
itself. Yeah, we'll see what it is.
So, well, Sadio Mane, people would have seen it. He went down injured and he was pointing to his knee. What is their word, Rich?
Bayern Munich say they're in contact with the Senegalese medical staff after Sadio Mane suffered what's allegedly a ruptured tendon in his fibula last night in their win over Werder Bremen. The former Liverpool forward now a major doubt for the World Cup. Heung-min Son, though, has declared himself fit for South Korea, that despite suffering a facial fracture just last week.
Yeah, he's
and England fullback Reece James is definitely out of the tournament in Qatar. That is due to his recent knee injury. Gareth Southgate, as I say, naming the squad tomorrow.
I can imagine the conversation with Son and Doctor. You really shouldn't play any kind of contact, all kinds of trouble. You can wear a mask, but it's just a bad idea. Yeah. Grand, I'm going to play.
Yeah, I'm in, Doc.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in.
Take a seat.
What a weird time this is now for every World Cup player over the next 2 weekends. I mean, to say that the games will be played at friendly pace in certain quarters, not an exaggeration.
I know. I can't believe it's 2 weeks. I don't know why I thought that it's
11 days.
Yeah, sorry. So it's this weekend is the last round of fixtures, but then there's obviously games today. There's games this week as well in the League Cup and whatever. Yeah, so there's 2 games for a lot of them to have to go through. Certainly this weekend for most. But yeah, it's like you get injured now. Oof. You're done. It's going to be hard to make it back. Yeah. So like, I mean, that Mane story is terrible. For I just think for any of these countries, like we talked about it with Son, and this is good news. Obviously, if he does make it, he's obviously in the squad. But let's see how much he plays. But for a country like South Korea, but sure, Mane's that in Senegal. You know, it's like, I mean, like France can lose a star player. Brazil, if they didn't have Neymar, it's not going to ruin the World Cup for them. They'll still fancy themselves to win it, you know?
Yes. I don't know. It did 8 years ago.
Well, that was different.
But he died, though. He died. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm actually very, very sad for Senegal and for Mane.
Yes. It would be akin to if Ireland were the World Cup and Roy Keane didn't make it.
I said that the other day outside. It was like that time when he got injured in 2002 and missed the tournament, yeah.
This story has been bubbling away, Rich.
Yeah. It ain't going away anytime soon either. The 2023 Rugby World Cup offices have been raided by French financial prosecutors. The investigation relates to charges of favouritism, influence peddling and corruption. Last month, their former chief executive, Claude Acher, was sacked following a damning report into his management style. That report was separate to these investigations, but Acher is now subject of an investigation into his expenses. The World Cup is due to get underway in 10 months' time.
Mr. O'Gara?
He's in trouble again. The La Rochelle head coach has been ordered to appear in front of a disciplinary committee on Wednesday next. O'Gara has been cited for comments made to a match official, though the LNR didn't say as much in their report overnight. The incident in question happened during La Rochelle's 1970 win over Brive at the weekend. O'Gara only saw a 6-match ban end on Halloween, but he could be set for another suspension.
Not ideal.
Not enjoying. He's taking a few months off going to the games, maybe just concentrating on what's happening on the training ground. I don't know. Yeah, no, you. That's. Oh no. Just bit of tape over his mouth. I think towards the end of games.
I think so.
Might be needed for a little while.
Tiger Woods, Rich.
He's back, Joe.
Testament to how good Roger's French is, though, by the way. He's getting cut out so often for that. But the 15-time major winner, Tiger Woods, has announced he'll return to competitive action at this year's Hero World Challenge Golf. Joe, control yourself. He'll be going for his 6th title at the PGA Tour event when it gets underway in the Bahamas next month. The 46-year-old hasn't played since failing to make the cut at the Open back in July at St Andrews.
46.
With the body of a 66.
I was going to say, it's starting to sound old before you even list all of the things that have happened to Tiger Woods' back and legs and everything else.
Well, even as Richie says, they're playing for the first time since he didn't make the cut at St Andrews in July.
Yeah.
That was not a good showing.
No.
And the whole year had been, wait till he gets to St Andrews.
Yeah.
That will suit him.
Now, in fairness, it was very quick after, considering the magnitude of what happened in the car accident. I still think that it was asking a lot for him to go and do what he tried to do this summer.
It was a year and 5 months.
Yeah, do you not think that was...
Oh, I suppose maybe that is.
He had shattered leg.
Yes, in that context,
and in the sport that it is that you're walking around constantly up and down hills.
Well, I suppose how much better is he going to get? Maybe
that's a question. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
At the Hero World Challenge Golf.
Yes. You did get that exactly right, actually. The lack of confidence undid you, but that's precisely what it is called. We are out of time. Richie, thank you very much.
Nice, lad.
Michael, thank you.
Cheers, folks.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
So we've had no answers 2 days in a row, which means another rollover, and we are talking €60,409.43 up for grabs tomorrow. Text play to 57557. Get your entry in by 3 o'clock Thursday, and then across the Go Loud network of stations, we'll make the call if you answer within 5 rings. That is a necessity.